Hi everyone, I'm Anu, and unlike my husband Rochelle's cooking videos, I'm going to take you through the art of pumpkin carving today. Over the years, pumpkin carving has become a tradition for me and my family. We've done so many, and a lot of people are always like, wow, those pumpkins are so great to, they're so complicated and intricate, they must be so difficult to make. They're actually not that difficult, and I wanted to show you today the simple stages you can go through in order to get a fantastic end product. The first thing I like to do when I'm preparing to carve my pumpkin is finding the stencil or the image that I actually want to carve. So this is really easy. You can Google this online. You can either look up the stencils themselves or you can even get pictures of other people's pumpkins and print that out. So today I'm going to be carving Scar.
Now it's time to take the guts out. When cutting the hole, make sure it's large enough that your hand actually fits through it, but you don't want to make it too large so that it interferes with the design that's going to be on the front of your pumpkin. Also make sure to cut on a bit of an angle, otherwise your pumpkin lid will slip right through. Scrape off all the gooiness on the inner sides. It'll make carving a lot easier.
So the next stage is carving. So I just taped my stencil on in the position that I was looking for it to be in. I chose a stencil because it actually has 2 dimensions. So there are spots, I don't know if you guys can tell, but that are a little bit, that are much brighter. That is where we're actually going to cut through the whole pumpkin. So basically these areas, the beard, the teeth, for example. And then there are some areas that are light gray. Those are actually only shaded. So you'll be able to see a little bit of the light shining through, but not fully.
Use the poking tools to transfer the design onto the pumpkin.
So now that we've punched through the design onto the pumpkin, we're going to take that off and focus on cutting the more delicate pieces of the pumpkin first. So typically those are the smaller areas, like the teeth, the eyes, just because in order to get those out, you want to have the rest of the pumpkin strong. So let's start off with that first. So now that we've taken out things like the eyes and some of the small features, I'm going to show you guys how to do a little bit of the shaving. So I'm just going to shave a little bit of the center and some of the other areas that are grayed. So it's kind of basically the same as cutting through, except you're going to use probably a smaller utensil like this and cut along the edges of your pattern. So don't cut all the way through, you're kind of like sliding it kind of like you're cutting it with a knife. So you just want to take off the skin portion. So now I'm taking just a larger utensil
trying to slide underneath, be mindful of your other hand. Kind of bringing it up like that. Don't worry too much right now about the specific details. We'll go through finishing it later. But you just want to make sure that enough of it is kind of popping through. I'm going to go now around his nose. And it's okay if you carve a little bit outside of the lines or along, like, you know, not perfectly against the lines that you poked, or the holes that you poked in. You can do the detail later. The pumpkin is pretty thick, so you know, you probably won't go all the way through with this. Sometimes these utensils, even though they're really good, they break. They're pretty cheap to replace anyway. Now that we've shaved these pieces partway through, we're going to move on to cutting out the rest of the pieces that actually go right through into the pumpkin. We're going to start off with the smallest piece, probably this one, and kind of work our way around to the larger pieces. This way we'll keep the pumpkin stronger for a longer period of time, and it'll make it easier to carve. And feel free to carve out in chunks. I find that that's easier. So for example, there's a little, kind of like a little lip up here. So I'm not gonna carve that out yet. I'm gonna carve the rest of this area first, and then I'll go back and catch that later. After carving the large chunks, I like to light the pumpkin to help with finishing touches. This is the stage I shave down any areas where I want to have more light shine through and smooth out any rough edges to really make the details pop. And this is our completed pumpkin. So here is the finished pumpkin. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Let me know what you guys think and if you use any of the techniques in the comments below. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you want to explore more with us.